Okay.
You started shooting without even telling me? I'm putting these bloopers in another video! Because I'm probably going to cry a lot in this and I don't want to put bloopers at the end of that. I've never been this nervous about making a video. Hi everybody, it's Angel Phoenix, and I'm not really showing much of my usual enthusiasm, even my exhausted enthusiasm. And the reason is I'm gonna talk about something that is kind of really cool and really happy, but at the same time really sad for me. And as the name of this video implies, I am talking about Eddsworld. It's not something I've ever talked about in my videos before, and it's something that I've really wanted to talk about because Eddsworld was a really big part of my life, and it's just kind of something that I have avoided talking about, especially since the creator of Eddsworld, Gould, passed away. And it made things really awkward for me to talk about, especially when, until recently, I couldn't talk about him without crying. Yeah. Max is trying not to laugh at me, and I'm trying not to cry. So if I end up laughing and crying at the same time, you have Max to blame. But basically, I wanted to talk about things like how I discovered Eddsworld and how it's affected me in my life and just things like that. And also why I haven't made this video sooner. So I really want to start at the beginning, which was way back in 2006. Back in 2006, my younger brother started watching a series called Eddsworld, and he tried to get me to watch it. But through the clips that I had seen, I wasn't really interested in it. To me, it was just a shoddily drawn animation series with the kind of comedy that I wasn't really into at the time. I had a really weird sense of comedy and wasn't really that into it at all at the time. And then 2007 came, and the very first Santa Claus episode came out. It was Christmas. My brother was borrowing my brand new laptop to watch Eddsworld because the computer wasn't working, and I walked in when he was watching it and was rather interested when I saw zombie Santa Claus on his computer screen. So I asked him to put the video back to the beginning, and I sat down and watched it with him, which is the first thing I was able to do with him in the past few years that we did without arguing and without fighting through the entire thing. So after that, I asked him to show me all of the other episodes that he enjoyed, and Ruined quickly became my favourite episode ever. And I became really, really into Eddsworld after that. So Christmas 2007 is when everything started. For a long time I had friends, but I didn't have much in common with them except for with Max. My friends in high school were only two people, Sam and Adam. Sam, who was a very girly person, the only thing that we really had in common was the fact that we both loved animals a great deal and had a passion for protecting animals. And we had an enemy in common, which brought us together. Adam, on the other hand, I was dating someone, well, kind of dating someone at the beginning of my first year of high school, and we made friends because my boyfriend decided to beat the crap out of him. And then we discovered that the only thing we had in common was Doctor Who, which for a while was all that we really needed. We built experiences together that brought us together. It wasn't common interests that brought us together. Aside from Max, I didn't have anyone who was interested in anything that I was interested in. I was interested in rock music and the kind of clothing associated with that genre and with that style, different gothic and alternative styles, and I was interested in all sorts of weird things like anime that no one that I knew was actually interested in. So when aside from you, Max, obviously, but when I got into Eddsworld, that changed a lot. My friends got into it, so we finally had something else in common with each other, and I actually started getting interested in social media. I made a Twitter account so I could follow Ed and Tom and Matt, and by then though Todd had already left and disappeared off the face of the earth. I would have followed him, but yeah. My first experience talking with Ed was actually to say that I made my Twitter account just so I could follow him and the Eddsworld cast, and I said how stalker that sounded, and he said something kind of weird like, yes, it does sound stalkerish, thank you for stalking me, or something along those lines. And I could not stop laughing or believe that he had actually taken the time to answer me. That was the kind of person that Ed was, all the way through his time being with us. Trying not to cry saying that. I was interacting with a lot of other Eddheads. For those of you who don't know, that is kind of the nickname the fandom was given. By who, I don't actually know, whether it was Ed himself or the fans. But either way, it works. For a long time of not having people interested in anything I was interested in, it was really cool and really nice to have someone you're bleeding. Badly.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
That was a big spot that just popped. I was talking to a lot of other Eddheads and found a lot of people who were interested in the same thing that I was. That wasn't just Eddsworld. For the first time in my life, I had people that had more things in common with me than my closest friends at the time did. And Adam is still one of my closest friends today, but we now have other things in common that we have discovered over the years. But that's besides the point. For the first time, I had people around me, be it just online, I still had people around me for the first time that had things that were interesting to me and them. It was a bit weird to have people who actually agreed with me about things that they liked, instead of just being called a weirdo and things that I liked kind of being fobbed off. So it opened up a whole new world for me. I was accepted and happy. And I got other people into it as well. I showed it to my friend Adam and Sam. We had an animation club where we would watch different anime and cartoons and talk about them. And I showed them Eddsworld, and everybody just went Eddsworld crazy in my high school. And it was the first thing in my life that I liked, that the popular kids liked, and I didn't get shat on for liking it as well. I usually avoided things that other people found popular, because if I liked it and they liked it, all of a sudden I was trying to fit in, and they would say, oh, you're still a freak, you're just trying to fit in, but we'll never accept you, blah blah blah. I don't care. So that's how it started with me, and that's how I wound up actually meeting people and feeling like I was part of a fandom for the first time in my life. I felt like I belonged somewhere. Be it just on the internet. Is that your phone?
No.
That's my phone.
Yeah, it was your phone.
My phone is vibrating. So for a very long time, it was also something that I shared in common with my brother, and still do. Watching Eddsworld and Tom and Matt's videos were the only things that we could do together that didn't end up evolving into a massive argument. And it was nice. It brought me and my brother together in a way we had never actually been before. Like, we could actually tolerate each other's existence for once, which is a nice thing, and it's still something that brings us together, even though Ed has passed away. So for a long time, I watched Ed, and I watched his videos grow, watched his animations get better, and watched him get more popular, and he never once changed. If he saw any of my tweets or comments, he would reply. He always did that. If he could see something and he wanted to reply, he would. If he saw your tweet, he would tweet back. That was just the way that he was. He wanted to have a close-knit community around what he was creating, rather than just making videos, which for me was a completely new concept, because, well, I'd never seen anyone do something like that on the internet before. So in short, Eddsworld ended up getting me more sociable, I had more friends, and I had a little bit of something to do with my life, even if it was just centered around him and his animations. And the years went on, things got better, and then they got worse. When I found out that Ed's cancer had come back, I didn't even know that he had had it in the past. But it turns out that, yes, he had. And for a long time, I was hoping that he was going to get better. I never mentioned Eddsworld in any of my videos before because I was such an active part of the Eddsworld community that I didn't feel the need to mention it in my videos. And then, when Ed got sick, I thought that maybe I should say something. I was preparing a big video with all of my friends in high school and all the people in my animation club to make a video for Ed saying, that he could beat it and that he could do it. And the day we were supposed to film it was the day that it was announced that Ed had died. And before I even saw the video, you look like you're about to cry as well.
Kind of hard to cry when you're having an anxiety attack at the same time.
I'm sorry.
I can only handle one negative emotion at a time.
I know. When I saw the name of the video that Tom and Matt had uploaded saying R.I.P. Ed, I broke down in tears and refused to watch it until midnight. I couldn't handle it. For someone who knew Ed so little compared to a lot of other people, I almost felt like I was kind of selfish for having these emotions of, I don't know, I just felt like I didn't deserve to say anything about how I was feeling regarding what was happening. Because, I was just a fan, I wasn't a friend of his. But it didn't change how much that impacted me. In 2008, me and my friends had created our own animation series idea that is being made now, after all this time. And it was inspired by Eddsworld and everything that he did. He was the one that inspired me to go on YouTube and start making videos, and he was the one that gave me hope for my life before Black Veil Brides, before Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, before all of that. It was Ed and Eddsworld and Tom and Matt, and yes, even Todd. after watching the video of Ed having passed away, I avoided everything to do with Eddsworld for an entire year. There were videos that people were making talking about how amazing Ed was and how much he inspired them. And I just couldn't deal with it. I didn't even know him, and I couldn't deal with it. So I have a huge amount of understanding towards his friends and how they feel. Because if I feel the way that I did, the fact that I cried for 3 days straight after finding out that Ed had passed away, I can't imagine what it would have been like for them. And for so long, I have avoided talking about Ed. Because, like I said, I felt like I didn't deserve to even have the emotions that I had. And all of my friends were hit by it too as well, and we were all horribly upset about Ed's passing. And it's only now that I feel like I can talk about it, because I finally watched all of the videos about Ed's passing, and I've been watching and keeping up with, for the past 2 years, the videos on Eddsworld and Tom's videos and Matt's videos. I had a lot to catch up on after a year had passed. But I wanted to say my bit and just say how wonderful a person that Ed was to everybody. He didn't even know my name, and he was so nice to me. And he is one of the people that I can well and truly say I wish that I knew, personally. And I wanted this to all come out before The End Part 2 came out. Because with that, everything Eddsworld is gonna be an end, apparently. There are rumours going around that Eddsworld will continue under his mum and his sister. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, then I know that they'll do just as an amazing job as Tom has. A lot of people have been complaining about Tom and the fact that he continued Eddsworld. But Ed wanted Eddsworld to continue. He didn't want it to end with him. He didn't want it to end the way that if Tom hadn't continued it, it would have. With half of Space Face finished, and that would have been it. That's not what he wanted. He didn't want it to ever end if it didn't have to. And I think for everything that has happened, Tom has done a brilliant job of the episodes that have been brought out so far. And yeah, he messed up. He put up his hands and said, he screwed up. He admitted to it, and he's fixed it the best that he could. So, I have a lot of respect for Tom. And I think everybody should just leave him the hell alone. Because he doesn't deserve the bullshit that people are giving him. So, my rant about Tom is over. But, yeah, without Ed, SOS would never have been created. I never would have made videos ever. I would never have had any clue as to what to do with my life. I wouldn't have had the strength to be able to follow my dreams the way that I have and the way that I still do. He wasn't just used to be an inspiration, he continues to be an inspiration and will continue to be, at least for me. And I know that there are a lot of younger generations waiting to discover Ed's videos. I know that kids I have babysat, I have shown Ed's videos and they love what he has done. And I think that says a lot about the kind of person that Ed was. If even people who were born, only a couple of years before he died can enjoy what he has done, I don't think I need to explain. Really, I'm not making much sense, but I don't think I need to explain what it means. So, I wish I had a can of Coke to raise to Ed, but A, Coke makes me very, very sick, and B, I don't even have a Coke can around. But I will say that everything that I do with SOS and my live action videos, they're all dedicated to Ed and Tom and Matt and Todd as well. But SOS is entirely going to be dedicated to Ed. And I hope that the end isn't really the end. But if it is, then it's going to be a good one. And I know that Ed is proud of what you guys have done. And is proud of what Tom has managed to do so far. Thank you guys for watching this. I'll probably have to split this up into a couple of different parts because I've been going on for so long. But I'm glad I finally got to say what I said. I'm sorry for crying. And I love you guys. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.